You're watching the Top 6 Show, the original multi-club fan channel. Make sure you're following us now on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. The link is in the description below. Welcome back to the Top 6 Show, sponsored again by our friends at Match Bingo. Get their app downloaded now. Sign up today and get 10 free cards per month until the end of the season. You must be over the age of 18 and in the UK. More about them later in the show. I have a brilliant panel for you tonight. Back by popular demand, Roms is here. Staffy's here. Stard is with us. Man like Don. And George's pulled out. So we got Kate to come in and replace him. Like, I'm only joking. I'm only joking. Jim, what it really was, Kate, your husband Jim messaged me. He said, can you get her on tonight? I fancy a 2-hour break. So, Jim.
I believe that.
Jim, it's a pleasure. Egal will be joining us as well at around about 6:30 this evening. Hit like buttons. Make sure you're subscribing. Lots to go through today. We're talking Benzema. We're talking Callum Wilson. Man United are sacking staff at the moment, left, right, and centre. Lots going on at Old Trafford. And, of course, we're going to preview the FA Cup weekend ahead with big games. Strangely, all the big games are on a Friday night this time around with Liverpool. No, not Liverpool. Chelsea taking Aston Villa and Tottenham Hotspur. Who is that? Versus Manchester City as well. But, panel, how are you all? You all well? You all good?
Yeah, good, thank you.
Good. Brilliant. Everybody enjoying the transfer window?
Oh, yeah.
Exciting, ain't it?
It's keeping me off my feet, man. It's getting me off my feet, man. It's crazy. So much going on, man. Okay.
I thought my owners was about to do a madness again, but the guy we're after from Villa, he's injured. So yeah, we're not going to.
You never know, bro. You never know with your owners. Like Duran coming in, bro.
Did you hear Don? Did you hear Don with the sigh of relief? Man said, yeah,
bro. As soon as he got linked to Chelsea, he got injured, bro. I'm telling you, there's a curse.
Don't worry, there'll be another South American under 60 and whatnot that you'll bring in before.
He ain't injured. He's just done what kids do when they don't want to go to school. Mummy, my belly hurts. He ain't even injured. He's just avoided in Chelsea. It's a graveyard right now. Lots to talk about. I wanted to start though. A lot of us haven't spoken this last week or so since Omar Barada has gone to Man United. Lots of new policies coming in today. The head of, what a title that this guy has considering our injury list. But our head of rehabilitation and physiotherapy has been sacked. There's a full-scale review going on. But they are Staffy starting at Man United by clearing out staff first, boardroom, sort of senior levels of staff in terms of decision makers. Now they're looking more at the day-to-day running of the club from the medical departments, which has been horrendous, the recruitment team as well. It does feel like Man United have a plan in action. Standards look like they're coming back and they're really starting to clear house. So we're not officially into the sort of INEOS era yet because they haven't been ratified, but lots of moves have already started. Have you been impressed so far with the sort of swiftness and the recruitment at board level by Sir Jim and Jean-Claire Blanc?
I wouldn't say impressed because it takes a lot to impress me, but I would say I'm glad with it because, as I said before, in business in general, usually when owners take over any business, and at the end of the day, this football club is still a business, as much as people like to pretend that it's not, but it is a business, and you need to run a business successfully. When new owners come in, you can see in the simplest of businesses. You could see a restaurant being taken over, and then they always say new ownership. What do? They just change everything around to make it look like it's new. It gives a feel-good factor to all the consumers. Not just that, you actually do bring in your own people, and this is what they're doing at United right now. They're trying to identify all the what's been the issue with the club. We haven't been successful for how long? Let's look at all the rotten eggs. Let's clear out the house from top to bottom. And I feel like they're moving slowly until hopefully they reach the head of the snake. And obviously, to me, who's the head of the snake. But listen, it just shows that these people who've been successful at the likes of City and at the likes of Nice and all that, they can come in, and it didn't take them more than a couple of weeks or a month to see what the issues are, what the deficiencies are. And they're slowly getting rid of their people, whether they're good enough or not. That's not the issue. The issue is that they want to come in and bring in their own people. And this is what we've all been asking for now. I know the Glazers are not gone, but this is the best solution outside of that. If I can't get rid of the Glazers, might as well at least get rid of the Glazers employees. And this is what what they're doing so far. So it's exciting to see. I'm not giving anyone false hope. I'm not giving myself false hope, but it's nice to see something different, and it's going to be refreshing. And hopefully in the next few years, it does reflect in the overall picture of the club. You know, if we start reaching different types of success, and when I talk about success, I'm not just talking about success on the pitch. Once you start seeing like the salaries going down, the type of recruitment improving, the simple stuff that people usually make up, like, oh, your roof is leaking, so the facilities improve. Oh, no more 1 out of 5 chicken ratings, stuff like that improves. Once you start seeing that in the next 2-3 years, then you'll go back at these days and be like, you know what? When Sir Jim came in and he got rid of such and such, that was the right decision, because eventually you saw the result of it.
You know what? From a rival's perspective, there's good things and bad things to this. Like you said, Staffy, normally when a new ownership come in, they normally make wholesale changes. So from a rival's perspective, this doesn't look good for us because they're getting out all the deadwood in whatever department they need to. The only silver lining in this is that we haven't seen anything on the pitch just yet. Because if this doesn't go to plan and they bring this new regime and all these new staff and it doesn't go to plan, it just prolongs United getting back to where they want to get back to. So it just remains to be seen. I think you and Terry as United fans will admit that until you see success on the pitch, all these new names don't mean nothing as of yet. Obviously, it's nice to see change, but you want to see change on the pitch too.
What I would say to that, Roms, yeah, like look for looking outside in, the guys they had before were just incompetent guys that didn't know what they were doing when it came to football. Right now, they're bringing in a guy from Man City who's basically won everything there. He was there for a long time. I haven't done much research into the guy, but he was obviously part of, you know, building what Man City have gone on to win. Do you know what I mean? So the absolute bare minimum you could ask for as football fans is people in charge that are just competent. Do you know what I'm saying? Asking for a competent manager that doesn't overcomplicate things as well.
He ran 11 clubs. Don.
There we go.
Since you're saying you didn't
11.
So he was.
Yeah.
So
the whole City group. The whole City group.
Yeah. At first he started with just City, and then he took over the City group. So he ran. I wouldn't say ran, but he helped in running 11 clubs in 7 different continents, which shows me that he went from just like micromanaging one club to macromanaging the whole organization. And I'm not saying this is what I'm saying. I'm not excited. This is not guaranteed success for anything, but it's nice when you see people with this type of accomplishments on their resumes being hired by your club. Because the other day, I forgot who's the man that we got rid of that was head of negotiations, something like that. He had a background in accounting, and I'm like, okay, no disrespect, but like, why are you negotiating when he was doing the accounting? You know what I'm saying? How did you get that promotion to become a negotiator? But when you see someone with that resume becoming a CEO, to him, that was the next level anyways. Like, that's a promotion he's trying to get to, but he just got it now in a different club. So it's nice to see that type of accomplishments on someone's resume.
Yeah, I think that's my overarching point. I think no one can be worse than the Richard Murtaughs and the other guy that you lot got rid of before. What's his name?
Richard Arnold and
Richard. All them guys.
Woodward.
Woodward. You can't get worse than that. You can't get worse than that. Honestly,
you can't. And I have to say, I agree with everything you've said, Staffy. Maybe I'm a little bit more excited because, and I could go and drag the clips out, but I can't be bothered to go back over the years. The amount of shows I've done like this, the amount of spaces I've sat in, where I've stated, even though at times I've said the manager has to go or certain players have to go, I've always said that I'm not that excited about the idea of it because I don't believe we're going to improve as a club until we make seismic change at board level, decision maker level, bring football people into the club. So to see that being the first area they're addressing, although it does feel great, it's not because we're inventing the wheel or discovering fire for the first time. It's more of a sense of finally, at last, we're actually, and I know you said earlier, the head of the snake, you're alluding towards Ten Hag. Ten Hag isn't the head of the snake. The head of the snake are the people that employ Ten Hag, gave him all the power, have enabled him to waste money, and haven't made him implement his style of football. The people that have enabled Ten Hag to do all these things is the head of the snake. They are they're the organ grinder, if you want to call them that. They are the most important people to change at a football club. although it's the managers and the players that often get all the fame and the glory, it's the people behind the scenes that run the club who are hugely integral to the success. And I keep explaining it this way. Your boardroom, your senior people that run your club, they're like your heartbeat. You shouldn't be thinking about your heart during the day. You should be thinking more about the cosmetic elements, brushing your teeth, combing your hair, going to the gym, wearing nice clothes. But if you've got a bad heart, trust me, that's all you're really thinking about. If you've got pain in your chest, you walk up the stairs, you're like, oh my God, your arm's hurting. You don't care about anything else. You're not going to go and get your teeth fixed in Turkey or, a facelift if you need to go and get a heart operation. And Man United's problem is we've had a heart problem for 10 years. We've had heart disease for 10 years, and we're finally addressing it. We're going on a diet. We're eating better food, getting a stint put in, clearing out the arteries, and that way we can genuinely improve ourselves rather than papering over cracks all the time. So for me, this has been a fantastic start. I want a lot more. I want more people in of the caliber that we've gone to so far. But like things going straight into the medical room and saying, right, the people that run this, you've got to go. We've had far too many injuries, far too regularly. You're out of here. The fact we're moving these people on straight away is just beautiful for me. If we were dragging our heels and still keeping people hoping, oh, you've been here 7 years and failing, but we're going to give you 2 more years to come good, it's got to go. And the first policy that we brought into the club under the new ownership is everybody in their role. You've got 1 year to 2 years, depending on how well you perform, to get to the highest standards possible. If you're not delivering, you're out the door. Now, LB said this on our show on Tuesday. He said, although people will say that's a Man City standard, it is now. But it always used to be a Man United standard. We just allowed those standards to slip away. So I'm really impressed with what we're doing. I wanted to ask all a question, though. There are consistent links right now to, predominantly because of Omar Barada, to Zerbi coming in, because that was who he and a few others earmarked as the long-term replacement of Pep Guardiola. So therefore you're going to get, and it might be a lazy link because Omar really rated him as the guy that could come in and replace Pep. Is that the type of person you think, Kate, could come into Man United and help us at least coast the football at the start of this genuine rebuilding project that we're starting?
It's difficult for me to say on an unbiased opinion because I can't stand the man. He's a good manager, but as a person, I just can't stand his attitude. I don't know if he's got the strength and experience to deal with Manchester United. I would have thought you'd want someone a bit more established, but, he's done well at Brighton. There's no denying it, but I don't know. I'm not sure if I can see it. I just don't know if I can see Zerbi taking over at Manchester United or not. It just doesn't strike me as being the right fit. I don't know if it's just me, but I don't see it myself. I don't know who I see there, but I don't particularly see Zerbi there.
I think the complete opposite. I think he will actually fit in there. What we know about Zerbi is he trains his players very hard. An interview came out from Boateng, Kevin Prince Boateng, where he spoke about playing under Zerbi, and he said he does not miss anything. In training, he works you to the absolute limit. He doesn't take no. He's very strict with his training sessions. So he makes sure he's leaving no stone unturned. I think this is exactly what they need. He needs to come into that place. He needs to train everybody to the highest level to get them to spot out which players ain't ready for it and ain't for going forward, and which players he can stick by and say, you know what, these players are right for us. These players are right for the club. They can stay here, and I can see them improving to get to that level eventually. But some of the players there, they're not at the level, and he will be the perfect guy to come in, spot them, and be like, yeah, these are the players that need to leave. These are the players that need to stay for you guys, and that can set the right lane for them to follow, or the right road for them to follow in order to reach a higher level. To be honest, for me personally,
do you know what it is with United potentially getting Zerbi? I agree with Kate in the sense that it's a different pressure at United. I remember, I think Zlatan come out and said, I can't remember word for word, but he rates Ten Hag as a manager, but maybe that step up from Ajax to United, he just can't deal with the pressure. Even though he's gone back to his old club and brought in certain players, it's a complete different level. The only difference with Zerbi and Ten Hag, though, Zerbi would have experience managing in the Prem already. So I think that's where he's at an advantage. But I think it would be a good appointment for United. And I do feel like you said, Zerbi's a bit more ruthless than the Ten Hag. So I think it would actually be a good appointment for United.
Yeah.
God willing, it doesn't happen.
I think this whole what's happening to Man United right now was legit my worst nightmare. So listen, I think for me, if the owners came in, they started buying players and kept the same people up top, I'd be laughing. I'll be sitting back. I'll be relaxed. I'll be like, okay, then go ahead. We're restarting the cycle again. So you're just buying players and you got shit people up top that don't know how to handle the club. But now that they're going and they're getting rid of people and actually bringing in people that are competent and able to run a football club, it looks like for me they're coming to, or what's the word? They're getting used to to recent times. They're becoming a bit more modern in the way football is now, where you don't have a manager who controls everything. You said that, Tel, in your show many times. You are very Alex Ferguson like. You need a manager that can do everything. He gets the players in, he trains them, he handles every part of aspect of the club. You need to get people who can handle those jobs.
Which is why I think with Zerbi, he isn't my number one choice, by the way. My number one would be Diego Simeone. That's who I would go for. I think style of football, I think, is pretty good. He's at a world-class level, plus he can handle the project. However, if we structure this right, Zerbi isn't coming in to run Man United. He's coming in to be the head coach, to coach the football. The problem that we've had by doing the Fergie model, and I get dogs abuse from Man United fans for saying this, and I can't fathom, 10 years, I can't fathom as to why people are not being trained to run football clubs anymore. Fergie went through essentially an apprenticeship in the late 60s, early 70s, through to when he took over Man United, of how to run a football club. Managers used to be the head coach, they used to be the director of football and the technical director, all rolled into one. People are not trained to do that anymore. They are generally, in the last 20 years, every manager that comes through is generally a head coach. Of course, they have an input in other areas, but they're a head coach, essentially. And even when they have the title of manager, they don't run the football club from top to bottom. They're not the most important or powerful person at the football club. It becomes a bit murky when you're as successful as Pep or Klopp, because you have a lot of weight and you have a lot of power. But in 2024, the manager shouldn't be the most powerful person at a football club per se, because that's not how they're structured. So that's where I don't worry as much about a Zerbi, or even if it was whoever the new Ten Hag is coming in this time round, because I believe the structure will be there in a way that he doesn't need to have had the experience per se of being at a club like Man United, because the people helping him run it have been. So that's why I just feel so much more relaxed this time around than every other time we've hired a manager or we've gone through this process of starting again. Because in fact, we've never started again. We've just added layer. KJ's decorating his house at the minute. He's bought a new house and he's decorating it. And he's going through what a lot of people do when they buy their first house, is you start stripping wallpaper, and you realize the lazy sods that owned it before you have put wallpaper over wallpaper over wallpaper, and it all starts falling down. The plasterboard falls off, and you're raging because corners have been cut so many times. And that's what Man United, we have cut corners for a decade or more. And we need someone to come in and say, let's not go out and spend £150 million on new players for a new shiny toy. We need, and I'm going to quote Ralph Ragnick, we need open heart surgery first. Then start worrying about getting your teeth done and your hairline sorted.
Harry, this is where it could be potentially worrying from a rival aspect as well. There's this lazy notion that, United will still be the same whilst the Glazers are in charge. And you've alluded to it a lot of times, Terry, over the past years. United can still be successful under Glazers. Why? Because you won Champions Leagues and Prems under them as well. And the fact you're making wholesale changes to your footballing structure, it's not nice to see. Well, that's what Saad said. It's not nice to see. Everything that I didn't want to happen to United is slowly happening. That's why I just hope it doesn't transpire to success on the pitch. I just hope they will come and fail again, but it's not looking that way. It's not looking that way.
Listen, there's a long, long way to go. That there really is, and I'm not getting overly gassed in terms of any predictions about the football side of things. It's just nice to see stuff done in the right order. You know, I'm gonna love my kids no matter what they do, within reason. But I would love my daughter to, find a man like get an education, get a job, find yourself a nice guy, get married, buy a house, and have a kid. It'd be lovely for it to be done in the kind of right order. I'd be so proud. Do you know what I mean? Rather than the way me and my brothers did things. Like sometimes it's nice to just do stuff in the right order. Do you know what I mean? So we'll see what happens with that. Viewers, let us know what you think, what you feel about the direction that Manchester United are going in currently. Speaking of directions, we haven't spoke for a while, Don. Chelsea, you've made a final this week by absolutely annihilating Middlesbrough. A much better performance with players in their natural position. Big game tomorrow night. You play Aston Villa, another chance to progress in a cup competition. But no real signings this month, linked to some really interesting players in the likes of Duran, maybe a few going out the door. It all feels a little bit crazy at Chelsea at the minute. As I say, some good results and progression in the cups, but weird transfer activity. Talk to me. What's going on at Chelsea?
What is going on at Chelsea, bro? I couldn't believe that I was seeing us be linked to this. What's his name? Duran. Yeah. I've never seen a single game of
Duran, bruv.
Duran, yeah. Bro, enough is enough. I don't know why these guys want to even, consider adding another young, inexperienced kid into this situation that we're in, because we can all see we need experience. So someone that we should be looking at right now is someone like a Benzema. I've spoken about him already. For me, I'm not going to get overly gassed because I don't think he's the same player, but I trust him more in front of goal. You know what I mean? He's going to bring a different type of mentality into the team. Again, his finishing, like I said, is a lot better than Jackson's and Broja. And for me, we need to get rid of Broja this window. Do you know what I mean? He just doesn't look like the same player. It's like a hologram. When we play him, it's like playing 10 men. It doesn't really make sense anymore. So yeah, we definitely need to bring someone in, but it can't be this guy from Aston Villa. But earlier, it came out, Emery mentioned it in the press conference that he's injured. So it looks like we're not going to pursue that any further. But yeah, man, it was a good win the other day. Poch finally, took it back to basics, didn't overcomplicate things. Like you said, he played everyone in their normal position apart from Disasi, which I understood because we haven't got any right backs fit at the moment. For me, I'd rather start Alfie there, to be fair. But listen, but Disasi, he played well. He played very well, in fact, the other day. Probably his best performance in the Chelsea top, right? But yeah, on Friday, bro, we just need to carry on. We need to carry on. He can't be overcomplicating things again. I highly doubt that he's going to start Ben Chilwell because obviously he just came back, which is understandable. You got to manage his minutes. Otherwise, he'll get injured the way Gusto did the other day. So you're probably going to see Levi there, unfortunately. But he needs to try and keep as many of the same people like to start against Aston Villa, because Middlesbrough, let's be real, they didn't really make us, we were just all over them, but we didn't really waste a lot of our energy, in my opinion. I think in the second half, it took a little bit easy, Yeah. So I'm expecting the same sort of lineup with a few changes here and there, but we need to beat them. Because if you remember at the bridge when Gusto got sent off, we were playing a lot better than them. Sterling, he had another moment like he did against Wolves where he could have literally played it to Jackson. He didn't. We end up losing that game. So yeah, man, we need to beat Villa and just keep it moving. Because right now we just keep winning. We keep winning games. So we need to carry on, man.
You're on a very good winning
What are we
streak.
saying? POCH in? Is that what we're saying now?
Bro, I said Poch fix up, and he fixed up the other day. But let's see how much he can carry on.
How many strikes is he on now, Don?
He's on strike 2, bro. He's on strike 2, Kate.
You're moving on that Staffy shit, bro.
He's still on strike 2.
Listen, you know how long it took me to get back to strike?
He stole your whole flow there, bro. He stole everything.
United was strike 1, like I said. Making Ten Hag look like fucking Heisenberg was just a howler, right? And then strike 2 was losing against Middlesbrough the other day, right? We were shocking. That was strike 2 for me. So the other day he was good. I bigged him up. I said that's probably one of his best performances again. Since he's been at Chelsea, he was very good.
I have a question, guys, because I actually thought about this yesterday. If I was a Chelsea fan, would I be saying Poch deserves next year just solely if he wins this trophy? If he wins a trophy, does he automatically get a pass for next year?
Oh, he buys himself time for sure. That's for sure. 100%.
No, not by himself time. He's guaranteed next year, because I'll tell you why. There's a very good chance you finish with a cup, but you don't finish in top 4.
Oh, top 4 is a long shot right now. I'll be real. But
that's what I'm saying. There's a very big chance that happens.
To somehow get top 4, Staffy would have to depend on Arsenal to continue losing games, Spurs again to keep losing games, and for us to keep winning games. Which, right now I know we've been picking up results, and technically we're the most informed team in the league. I still don't trust us, because even those games that we've won, I've still been
most informed.
We are, bro. We've picked up 12 points in the past was it month? I think it is month and a bit. We're literally the most informed team right now.
Flying right now.
We're literally the most informed team right now. Yeah, it's mad. It's mad. But I've still been saying more bad things in those wins than I have good, which should never be the case. Now, if I'm saying more negative things and I'm criticizing him more, that means that football is not sustainable. Do you get it? The way we played the other day is more sustainable than what I've been watching. So I'm still not, going to look at it and think, yeah, we can get top 4, we can get top 5. Nah, man, not right now. I think top 6 is more of a possibility. But for us to get top 4, top 5, we have to, depend on Arsenal and that to keep dropping points and that, and then we have to keep winning. That's the only way.
I think he automatically gets granted next year if he wins that cup. Because that means you're going against the final against Liverpool, beating them. Infinity. What is the one thing we always say about Poch? He has no trophies. Comes in his first year, picks up a trophy.
If he wins that year, he's going to stay. He's going to stay. That's what I said. It's going to buy him time. It's definitely going to buy him time. And bro, it's going to go a long way, man, because these lot are young. They're going to get that feeling of winning together. The first trophy we won under Roman was this trophy as well. You know what I'm saying? So there's a bit of a parallel there, man, right now. And this is like what, the 5th time we faced Liverpool now in the final. I'm seeing something along the lines.
Yeah, better not be a 0-0 again because I'm tired of that.
Yeah, better be. I want to ask you Gower a question here. Do you think Arsenal are going to feel some pressure if Poch goes and wins a trophy with Chelsea in his first season? If you guys then don't go on to win something this year because he's Spurs. Chelsea have been awful for a while now. Like they're in a final now. They've definitely gone further than you in the FA Cup. Are you feeling a bit of pressure as a gooner looking at this Chelsea team right now?
100%. To answer your question, yes. But first, let me say this: Kate should be the most upset out of everybody because he gaslit their fan base. He gaslit their fan base for multiple years, telling them these trophies don't matter. These trophies don't matter. These trophies don't matter. And first thing he does when he goes to Chelsea, he says, I want to win everything. And he's taking these trophies serious. So the first person on this whole entire panel who should be the most gaslit is the person who had him as their previous manager. And at this current point, he looks like he's taking trophies more seriously at Chelsea than he did in his entirety at Tottenham. He used to play kids in these competitions. And Kate, you must be more upset than anybody else on this panel. But if you're going to talk about Arsenal, let me bring it back. Rum, your boys have to do something for me. They have to do something.
We will.
I don't care. I am the most shameless individual on this whole panel. My badge will be an Arsenal/Liverpool badge on that day. I am Liverpool on that day. I need Liverpool to stop Chelsea the same way they stopped Tottenham from winning the Champions League. We cannot have this Chelsea team with the new owner and been in the mud, spent £1 billion and win a Carabao Cup the same way Manchester United did last year and try to clown everybody with it the whole year. It cannot happen.
Wait, why not? Why not?
On top of that, I will say it right now. I hate Chelsea more than any other club in the whole world. Not Manchester United, not Tottenham. That's just me. Maybe not every other fan. This is why I don't want them to win.
Egal, do you know?
It sounds like jealousy.
And this past couple of years has been amazing. I've loved it. If they win a trophy, honestly, it might not affect Arsenal and the club and the players, and it might not put pressure on them, but it will piss the fan base off so much because they will continuously hold it against us as like Manchester United did the Carabao Cup. Guess what? Even if they do win it, at the end of the day, it doesn't necessarily finish my sentence before somebody cuts in. Relax. I just got here. Enjoy now. I'm done.
I was saying to Don straight away, me and Don were speaking before the stream, and I said, you do know, if you don't beat us in the final, I don't think they will, Gal. We've got you. But if they win, they're not even going to care about bragging rights towards us. They're going to go straight for the Arsenal fans because the narrative will be, he got a trophy in his first season like Arteta did with a new ownership, Kindergarten FC. That's what the narrative is.
Hold on.
Bro, you can't blame them in the last 4 years.
The main thing is
Liverpool losers, except for Manchester United fans who want to laugh at them.
1 second. Don, I got you, Don. Give me a second here. You can't blame them. You can't blame them. First of all, of course, I'm gonna be on Don's side that day because, like, I'd rather him win the new scum. The new. I don't give a shit about you guys. It's just plain and simple. Honestly,
they're about to overtake you in trophies. You don't care,
bro. Worry about yourself. Bro. I'm ahead of you. But anyways,
here's the thing, bro.
You can't say, bro. I'm using the same argument, but hold on, bro. Let me cook up something here. I have enough ingredients. I'm trying to put something together.
All right, James Harden.
How could you say this about Chelsea fans when you yourself come here every week when they lose to talk about Enzo, but the minute they win a trophy, you don't expect them to come back at you? That's number one. Number two, you're saying
I
they
expect them to come back. That's why I don't want them to win.
No, but that's what I'm saying. If you come here every week when they lose and you talk about Enzo and you talk about this and you talk about that, obviously the first thing they're gonna do is when they win a trophy, they're gonna look for you because you're a wanted man now. Now, secondly, you're saying they can't. Okay, they can't win a trophy. Why can't they? They invested in a manager, they invested in a squad, and then if they're in their first year they win a trophy, that's the same thing you guys did with Arteta, because everyone kept saying he won a trophy in his first year. You guys remember those debates between him, Ollie, and Lampard? That was the one thing that they used. And just lastly, when you're saying Kate, she should be embarrassed or upset because that manager used to clown these trophies, bro. I swear, for the past 2-3 years, or the past 2 years at least, we've been using bigger fish to fry because of you guys. You guys literally made that famous. I've never heard bigger fish to fry until Dunrabi came out and the whole AFTV crew told us that these little cups ain't important because we need to win the league, and they're yet to win the league.
And guess what?
And they're still running that.
Just to add to that as well. Don't worry about. Hold on, Egal. Yeah, before you hold on, Egal. Before you come in,
bigger fish to fry. I've been off every stream.
I didn't say you. I said your team.
I'm just telling. 1 second, you're addressing me and probably Saeed. Both of us probably don't subscribe to that. I'm pretty sure you don't subscribe to that.
Saeed's like sitting there like 50%. Why if me? I know what Egal and a lot of Arsenal fans be worried about. It's this, right? In the 4 years that Arteta has been there, if Chelsea win this, it'll be their 4th trophy in that time period. So in this is where it gets hard. Spurs fans went through this with Arsenal. When Arsenal were going through their darkest days and Poch had them up near the top of the table and they're playing beautiful football, Arsenal won more than them. Arsenal have won 1 trophy in 4 years. If they were to win this, Chelsea, for all the crap they've been through, it'd be their 4th trophy since 2019 with Champions League, Super Cup, World Cup Championship. They've won those trophies, and that's where the pain's going to come from. And I get it. I totally understand. If your team's been playing really well, and one of your especially your geographical rivals, one of your biggest rivals has been in the pits, finishing in the bottom half of the table, owner being forced out the country. If they win 4 times more than you in that period, it is painful.
Once again,
hold on, Egal. Yeah, before I even add to that point, let me go back a little bit to Kate. Don't worry about Kate. She's worried. Kate. Hold on, right now. Hold on, Egal. Let me tell you why you shouldn't worry about Spurs. No, let me tell you why you shouldn't worry about Spurs and them lot. Yeah. They are used to people leaving their club and winning things. Yeah, they're used to it. Kate is used to it. That's their life. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
I thought he was about to defend Kate.
Let me tell you why. Egal. Come closer. Let me tell you something. You lot keep talking about phases and this and all of that. Yeah. If we win this trophy, that just completely debunks that whole thing about phase 4 and we can't do that because we're in this phase.
No, don't think just.
It does, bro.
If you win a League Cup,
this team right now, Hold on, Egal. This team has been put together pretty much overnight. Yeah, you lot have been together now. This is I call it Mikel's Avengers. These are his Avengers. Yeah, do not let this young team at Stamford Bridge, in West London, win something before these man. I'm telling you. Because that's the day that you ain't going to want to jump on any panels with me, bro. I'm going to be unbearable. I am going to be unbearable. Make sure that it doesn't happen. Pray to all the gods that you need to that it doesn't happen. Because Roms is going to hold it. Yeah, I'm telling you, Roms, I'm going to show Roms.
I've got you.
Any Arsenal fan in the chat.
At this moment in time, I'm just going to say Liverpool's got this.
Anyhow, we win this, bro. In this phases that you don't.
Okay, you're threatening me now. With what? Listen, I don't care, bro. The reality is, this is what I care about. I care about Darwin Núñez actually getting a good conversion rate for once. Mo Salah and Trent somehow being there for the final, if it's possible. I care about Liverpool performing in that game and you guys losing. Now, Terry, the reason why I care, I'll tell you this, and everybody should listen to this because this is actually no bias. This is real. You don't know when your team is going to get over the line until they get over the line. And if Chelsea this young Chelsea team win something, it could potentially push them on to start having more of a mentality that they can do this and believing in themselves and go a little bit further and improve. Now, I'm not scared of Chelsea per se. I'm more scared of their fans talking shit to me. But the reality of the situation is, if this Chelsea team do that, and this Arsenal team has been unable to do that since Arteta first came in, silverware is the currency, and they're going to sit here in 12th, 10th, 8th, 9th, doesn't matter what position, and say that we won something and we're going to be remembering this season for something, and you won't. And that's going to hurt more than anything else, Terry.
Listen, I totally get it. I'm an outsider looking at your rivalry, and I get where the pain will come from. I do disagree with the phase bit a little bit element though, Don, because I think for me, and I've said this a few times recently, being in title races, generally speaking, means you've got a better chance of winning trophies. Did that make it? Generally means you're a better footballing team if you're in a title race. I think it takes time to get to that point, but of course you want to pick up trophies along the way as well. I'm not disagreeing with that point. We have some super chats here. First one says, Gooners who watch Arsenal lose to Chelsea during the Drogba era get the hatred. To make it worse, legendary cricker Sachin Tendulkar is a Chelsea fan. Only reason why India roots for oligarch-owned Chelsea. Do you know, interested? You all know who Sachin Tendulkar is, right? If you watch cricket, he's cousins with a woman called Nisha Patel. Hope you're well. Used to work in the bank with me, and she told me it was her cousin. I didn't believe her, did I? I was like, yeah, of course it is. Turned up in the branch one day. I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh my God. I got a couple of cricket balls signed. I couldn't, but you know, when someone's told you something, you're like, yeah, you're spinning that old yarn. She went, yeah, he's coming to see me today. We laughed. We were like, yeah, of course he is. He walked in. I couldn't believe it. I was so shocked. It was amazing.
You watch cricket?
I don't watch it as much as I used to, but yeah, I watch cricket, and it's a good sport. I like cricket. I mean,
you watch cricket, but you don't watch NFL. It's crazy.
So it's crazy that I watch a sport that's big in England and that we.
No, but you make fun of NBA and NFL, but you watch cricket. I just find that funny.
Gal, it's pretty self-explanatory. Cricket's bigger here than NFL and NBA.
Nah, I just find that funny. I don't know. Maybe she's.
That's like saying, is it funny to say to an American?
Egal sounds like the cricket.
It's really weird that you don't watch netball or cricket, but you watch the NFL.
No.
It's the same thing.
It's more common for him to watch that, Egal, than to watch that.
As a kid, anyway, like when I grew up as a kid, there was literally like they used to put one NBA game used to come on Sunday. The NFL wasn't really on TV or anything, so you couldn't really get into it. And when it's become a big thing, it's on too late. Man's got to go to bed. I'm old.
What was the first thing that came through my mind? You get it.
It's all right, man.
Yeah, we know that.
George is here. See, KJ told me George wasn't coming, and now he's here. I love it. I told you one
person banner. Wow,
it's great. I
like
know.
Welcome to the top 8.
I know. Yeah. I'm back in. If it's top 8, I'm back in. I'm buzzing. We're in. Chelsea, you in as well, yeah? We're in top 8. Oh, you're 9th.
We're ninth.
Ah, no. I honestly didn't know. I couldn't remember. I genuinely couldn't remember where anybody was right now. Well, I was looking to say something. My mind's gone blank. How do people think Chelsea are going to get on against Aston Villa tomorrow night, though? What are you saying, Don? You confident, or are you a little bit worried because they've been very, very good this year, Villa?
Yeah, I think look, Villa away from home aren't the best, in all honesty. And like I said, when we played them already this season, we were the better team. You know, they play a high line, which plays in our hands as well. They don't really play a low block. And like I've said, we just need to have a real balanced lineup with maybe a few changes here and there. But I'm expecting us to beat them, man, honestly, because you know, with right now we've got Nkuku should be available tomorrow, hopefully. I think Gusto's coming back as well. So yeah, man, we should have enough to beat these lot, you know. And Cole Palmer's doing what he's been doing, you know. So yeah, I'm expecting us to beat them.
Anybody see a little bit of an upset maybe in this game? Maybe you know, I know Chelsea are 9th. They're still Chelsea.
Yeah, it's at the Bridge.
Hasn't Villa beaten you the last 2 times you played them at Stamford Bridge?
Yep. Graham Potter, that was his last game before he got sacked, and then this season as well. But this year, bro, we should have beaten them. Even last year.
They're too inconsistent, to be honest. If you look at their season, they're too inconsistent. And I wanted to get LB. Yeah, I wanted to get LB on a panel, yeah, because that guy laughed in my face. He laughed at me in my face when I told them I don't think that they can last in this title race, because I said to them they're too inconsistent, and they were like, "Oh, what do you mean? You're just hating. Why can't you invite them? What, just because they're Aston Villa?" No, I said they're too inconsistent. That's why they can't be classed in the title race, and that's what they've just dropped points in too many games.
Hang on a minute, Sard. You're an Arsenal fan. They're level on points for you, bro. What are you talking about?
Yes, but they're still too inconsistent. We've only just been inconsistent in the last few games.
I know.
Through this whole season, they've been way too.
Hang on a minute. I'm sorry. I've got to call this out.
Is insane.
You both played 21 games. You both won 13 games. You both drawn 4 games. You both lost 4 games. You both scored. They've scored 1 more goal than you. How are you calling them inconsistent and out of the title race when your form is almost identical to them and you're out
because of the caliber of teams that they have performed poorly against? Sheffield United, who they drew to at home, and luckily by a last-minute goal, they drew to them at home. I'm talking about the way they've played against
Luton with a last-minute goal.
The inconsistencies,
and they've beaten you guys. What are you talking about?
Okay, yes, Staffy. So you say that, but the same way Liverpool, who are top of the league, went to Luton and barely came out of there with a draw, and Man City went there and barely came out there with a 1-0. I swear
this is what's blowing my mind right now. One second. Here's what's blowing my mind. You think they're inconsistent because of a performance against Sheffield, but you're ignoring the fact that they've beaten you in City. So we're gonna look at the Sheffield game, but we're not gonna look that they beaten Arsenal and beaten City. That just makes no sense.
Because in a title race, the reason why us and Aston Villa right now are in this situation, because in the title race you can't do it. You can't do it against big teams and then sit there and falter against the smaller teams. You can't. You just can't. Hence why we
played 20 games. If I go look at your 20 games, I'm gonna find a few slip up against small teams.
Of course, we should have dropped points for Fulham. We shouldn't have dropped points at Fulham, of course. But same way they shouldn't have dropped points against Sheffield.
Fulham twice, by the way.
We dealt with them both games.
The bit that
I allow it, Dom, bro. There's no need, bro. You're such a fraud, bro. It's my chance to get points everywhere, bro.
We have beaten them both games.
We've beaten them as well. There you go.
I knew you were going to say, slap your shit.
I just remembered it, bro. I was like, wait, did we beat them? I just remembered the comeback.
You're like frauds, bro.
Silly last minute goal,
the only team that's beaten Aston Villa recently that you're talking about, like, is Man United. And if we all watched that game and know Man United just had a good second half. Aston Villa just weren't at the pace in the second half. But the first half, Aston Villa were doing their thing. And even when you look at some of the other games, they've dropped points. They've had the same form, like Terry said. At the point that you began to drop points, they began to drop points. And even still, they're in the same position as you. It's not like they've been on a horrid run of form, or you've been on a horrid run of form. You've been on a similar form patch. So if they've been
so based on that, are we going to judge them? Are we going to judge Aston Villa based on their recent form where they've been poor going into this Chelsea game, or are we going to judge them based on the quality they've shown throughout the season? Because the quality they've shown throughout the season.
Egal, that's a great question, Egal. So we're talking about them winning this game. And if Sard, I love Sard, by the way, but if Sard would have said their recent form has been inconsistent and Chelsea's has been good, so I think they'll win, nobody would be saying anything. What he's saying is they're definitely out of the title race because of their recent run of form. But that logic dictates you're putting your own team out of the title race because your form for a better team to be in the same form as a worse team is a bad sign. So that's the only bit I'm challenging, that I don't think this season they've been inconsistent. They've had a bad run. There's no doubt about that whatsoever. Egal, you're right. And I make Chelsea the favourites for this game because Chelsea's home form is better than Villa's away form and all of that. I just don't think they've necessarily been inconsistent. And for a team to be punching above the weight of which we expected them to be, they're not actually being inconsistent, are they? They're overachieving. And we know they're definitely overachieving because nobody would have put them in the top 4. So
no, fair enough. I can understand that.
I just think inconsistent is probably the wrong word.
Maybe I'm looking at it from a point. I understand what you're saying there because I'm looking at a point from a top team like a Man City or Arsenal or Man United or Chelsea or one of these big teams, yeah. But obviously Aston Villa right now in the point where they are, they're still in their like whole process.
I got a little pun here. He's trying really hard to get out of this one, isn't he?
He is waffle.
Right. Let me say this though.
There you are.
Chelsea are going to be less rested than Aston Villa. That could be an advantage to Aston Villa. Chelsea are extremely beatable because they don't always score 6 goals past teams unless it's a relegation side or a championship side. So Aston Villa definitely can go into that game.
Relegation side, or
Aston Villa can definitely go into that game and beat them.
I think the most Villa for me can get is a replay back to their ground. I can't see them beating Chelsea because, correct me if I'm wrong, Don, you've not lost at the Bridge since what, October? You're turning it into a little
couple games.
And who beat them?
You're turning it into a little fortress.
Was it Brentford? Was it Brentford that beat us?
Yeah, Brentford.
Yeah,
I think it was Brentford.
That was our last loss at the Bridge. Yeah, we've won every other game since.
You've turned it into a little fortress now. Drew against Arsenal, drew against City, so you're doing well in the big game. I know what Egal's saying. Villa's last 2 visits, they've beat you lot, but there's a saying, third time lucky, and I just think with Chelsea's form at home now, I think the most Villa will get is a draw. But, Don, if they do get that draw and you go to Villa Park, that's when I think they'll probably win. So I reckon you have to kind of end this tie at the Bridge.
We need to get the job done, man. We need to get the job done. This is another tournament I want to go deep in. Do you know what I mean? I like the FA Cup.
Can I just interject, Egal? I got everything that you said about Villa could do this and Chelsea are very beatable. What do you think's actually going to happen though? Because you're still speaking in riddles to a large degree.
No riddles. Aston Villa can go there.
We know they can win.
Terry, by the way, before you answer that, Egal,
what do you think will happen, bro?
Egal, before you answer that, Egal, you were basically trying to paint a picture that Borough could beat us the other day. Everyone was looking at you like, I watched that top 6 when you were talking about, Borough, they could go there and they can. So carry on, my bro. Answer the question.
Egal's admitted though, he just hates Chelsea, so he's gonna find.
I made it extremely clear in the last video that I'm saying there is a way in which to beat Chelsea, and just Middlesbrough were completely unable to stop you offensively.
If you watch the first game, you know that
Aston Villa is a Premier League side. It's a different story. You're not playing against bums. You're playing against Premier League players, right? So in this situation, I really do believe with the fully rested Aston Villa side, with the Chelsea who just played a couple of days ago, they can catch you and surprise you. And if they catch you on the break, all they need is a 1-goal lead. They can sit on that. And Chelsea are one of the struggle to break teams down once they sit up shop. So if they get a 1-goal lead against you, they'll shut up shop and you're done. You guys can't break them down.
Gal, I have to disagree because Terry and Staffy will know this at Old Trafford. They won't sit back. Emery will keep trying to go and get the goals, and they'll have the high line still. So I have to disagree with that point. There'll always be chance for Chelsea to come in. That's why I don't think Chelsea lose that game. They either win or draw.
It depends if Unai Emery respects them or not. If Unai Emery comes there and doesn't respect them at all, they'll lose. But if Unai Emery comes there, respect, and he tries to play them like the quality team that they are.
I love that backhanded compliment.
Yeah, Egal, it's not gonna happen. Emery, I was even at that game when we played Villa, like I said, and before Gusto got that red card, bro, we should have been clear. Like we should have been winning.
He basically just said the only way Chelsea win is if Aston Villa think they're shit.
Basically, yeah. Like, Egal, honestly, bro, what it is with Chelsea, it's the same thing.
A lot of teams have been disrespecting Chelsea, trying to go gung-ho with them. And that's why they've been blitzing some of these teams.
So you think if teams put a little bit more respect on Chelsea's name, they go back to losing? Yeah,
because the reality of the situation is
not necessarily,
when they play Burnley and they score 4 past them, it's not a coincidence. But then when they play Brentford and lose the way in the fashion that they do, it's not a coincidence. It's the manager and how they approach the game dictates how Chelsea performs.
Yeah, Egal, that's the main thing for me. It's all about how the manager sets us up because we've got good players, like I've already spoken about. It's how the manager sets us up. Do you know what I mean?
People, what would be fantastic? Do you know what would be fantastic? If he plays Chilwell left wing, Colwell back at left back, I think that would be amazing.
If we do that, Roms, on that note,
if he starts Broha up top and puts in Mudryk out of nowhere, just starts him again, you never know.
Enzo in the 10. Enzo in the 10.
Conor Gallagher on the right wing or something. It'd be great, bro.
Mudryk wasn't in training pictures today, innit? So
let's not forget that this is still a very young, inexperienced and naive side. Besides Thiago Silva, who's the only person who's bringing up the average age by like 20. That's the only thing. That's the only experience they have.
Thiago. Who's Thiago?
Thiago.
I don't know.
I love how you said it. Thiago.
The problem was
facts.
I was thinking about Thiago Alcantara a couple hours ago, and the two names mixed me up. But
yeah, and they're both pronounced the same way. What's the difference? They're both pronounced the same way.
It's both Thiago, but anyway,
I don't know.
Egal is speaking facts. These guys are young, innit? Yeah, Egal, you're speaking
just
facts.
because my delivery is funny doesn't mean my point's not accurate.
No, we're not laughing at your point. We're laughing at you because you're brilliant, Egal. You're the best, man.
Wait, hold on. Let me just say one more point before I go. Yeah, Egal is spot on. We do have young players, and like I said, Poch has been overcomplicating things. So make it easy, like you did the other day. Play most of the players in their natural position, and we should play better. But people, have a good evening, man. I've got to go.
All right, bro.
Don't go nowhere. Cole Palmer and Saka. How dare you, bro?
Hey, that's another one for another day. That's another one for another day.
I'm upset.
Like I said, Cole Palmer is better than Saka. Goodbye.
Based on what?
I mean, this season, there's an argument is there. Like, does anyone else on the panel think Cole Palmer's better than Saka?
Yeah.
I think he's got more natural ability.
Hey, unpack that. How is he better in your opinion?
I do. I think Cole Palmer's had far more impact on games than Saka has, considering Saka's world class. So everyone's been telling me. I think Palmer's had far more of an impact this season. I'm not talking about any other season except this season. And everyone coming at me when I'm sitting there minding my own business, I'm not crying if Poch wins trophies at Chelsea because Daniel Levy never prioritised the cups. Everybody knows that. It's only now, since he's done the fan-led review, that he's come out and said he made mistakes, he's going to change things. But if I'm going to cry over Pochettino, it's never going to happen. And Egal, you're the biggest waffler I've ever known, and you never answer a question. You just deflect everywhere except answer the question.
I answered the question with my first sentence, and then I explained why.
You didn't know. You went round the houses. It took you about 10 minutes to answer a question that would have took about 30 seconds.
What are you talking about, Kate? I say yes or no, and then I answer why. What are we doing here? Ask me a question. I'll answer it.
Why is Cole Palmer outperforming Saka?
Yes. Explain why you think.
Yes, Saka is better than Palmer. And
no, that's not my question. Why is Cole Palmer outperforming Saka this season?
Why is Cole Palmer outperforming Saka this season?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, he's a youngster. He's literally the only outlet Chelsea have to score goals this season. They play through him. They are utilizing him as their get out of jail free card, and everything is going through him. Where Arsenal,
wait. Can I just say again?
One second. Let me land before you guys start cutting me up. The point won't even. 1 second. The point won't even
land. But does that not sound familiar?
You didn't even let me speak. Let me finish, and then I will explain to you. I will explain to you how it ties into Saka, and then you'll understand. So don't go crazy and start saying, oh, now he's being biased. Let me explain. The difference is, with Bukayo Saka, there's a multiple year sample size, and now teams are double teaming him, sometimes even triple teaming him to get the ball off of him. Where Chelsea, they're just playing them straight up, and they're not putting too much pressure on Cole Palmer. They're not trying to cancel him out, and that's the main reason why he has more freedom in the space in the team, and they're playing through him more. Where Arsenal, we have to find other solutions. We also have other players who can take the game by the scruff of the neck. We're not only depending on Saka. Where Chelsea, they're playing through him. And Cole Palmer, right now, statistically, he might be having a better season in the Premier League. But overall, Saka's still outperforming him statistically.
It's just what a load of waffle, bro. I've had enough. Listen, if I hate.
You asked me to answer a question, and then you say waffle. What part of it is American waffle?
Oh, what you just said right now was waffle. If I ask you to check right now, and I don't even have anything open in front of me, if I ask you to go check the heat map or the usage percentages of where Arsenal play the ball every game, I promise you it's predominantly going to be on the right where Saka is 100%. Down that 90 minutes, the ball goes down that right more than it goes anywhere else. And I don't even have that in front of me, but I use my eyes every game. I can watch that everything mainly goes to him and Odegaard, and both of them play those little triangles on that side.
Okay, so you're going to tell me defenders defend them the same? That was my point.
Not gonna let him land.
But here's the thing. All these world-class players, all these world-class players, especially when they play on the wing, they get doubled. I've seen that with I've seen Rashford get doubled this season. This is why he's been shit, but I call it out. All these players, where everything goes down their side, they get doubled. Now, I don't watch every 90 minutes for Arsenal and Chelsea to see how many times the Saka got double teamed versus Cole Palmer gets double teamed. But I can tell you this about Cole Palmer. First of all, people in the comments who said he has 6 penalties. If Saka knew how to win penalties, you probably would have had a Premier League that last season. So that's point number one. Number two, Cole Palmer. Yes, because you missed that penalty. What was it against Southampton and West Ham? No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the penalties that he missed. Didn't he miss the last 2 penalties last season?
Yeah,
so
and
if
if
you want to talk
about glasses on, we would have won the league also.
Just let me finish, bro. I'm not going to talk about all the reasons why you bottled the league. They mentioned penalties as if it's nothing. If Saka scored penalties, I could go as far as saying England probably would have had a Euros. But anyways, I don't want to go that far. Now, Cole Palmer went from a Man City. He went from a Man City academy to this first team where he didn't get enough minutes, and then he got sold for a crazy fee where everyone said 45 million for a kid who barely has any minutes in the Premier League is insane. I could swear that Cole Palmer didn't even have a Premier League goal. He had a Super Cup goal and the one in the the Community Shield. Now this guy goes in over there, even though he's scoring a lot of penalties. I do get that, but you can tell that this kid, every time he touches the ball, he probably has more talent than anyone on the pitch. He's ready to take on the responsibility, which no one else in this team, in this Chelsea team, clearly wants it until he stepped up. And it's paying off because he's getting goals. If he's not getting goals, he's making something happen. People can use the eye test and they could see that he is a bowler. He is someone that's going to be in this England team in the future. And potentially they can build something around him along with others. Now, the reason why we're asking you a question, why is he outperforming? Because we don't have the same expectations for him as we do for Saka. Saka came into this season with a lot more expectations. Saka is expected to win the league. Cole Palmer, a lot of people said it's a stupid signing anyways because it costs so much money. So when at the end of the day, I'm seeing statistically they're close to each other and I'm seeing the performances individually. I'm not comparing the team performance, but individually, Cole Palmer is having a lot more better individual games than Saka has in a while. We need to be sitting here and asking these questions. And I don't think anything about what we said or what I said is disingenuous at all. People can sit here and cry and say, oh, I'm hating on Arsenal again. Well, you guys put yourself on this high pedestal all the time. And the minute we start questioning you guys for not delivering it, you guys get upset. I didn't say Saka was world class. You guys did.
Go on. His expectation was set by Arsenal fans. Let's make this
exactly. That's what I said.
George, to add on to Staffy's point, sorry, Egal's point as well. You're saying Saka's getting doubled up on, but this is where I'd say Saka's quite limited and one-dimensional. He needs to learn to go on the outside because all he keeps doing is cutting in on the inside. And if you are getting doubled up on, you find different ways, different avenues to beat your man. I never see a Saka go on the outside. Never, ever. So he needs to stop changing his game or adapting something so he can be a bit more effective because every time he's getting the ball cutting in and defenders have worked him out. And it is respect to Saka. It is an element or respect. Teams are like, you know what, he's dangerous on the inside. We need to nullify him. But now he needs to find different ways. So
Roms, this is my point though. When it comes to natural ability, when you're getting doubled up on, players like Hazard, players like Suarez, they get
Sanchez,
Sanchez. These are guys that
Bale,
Sanchez, bro. You literally had a winger that had all the natural ability in the world playing for your club, Egal, and then you're putting Saka in some conversations that the guy shouldn't be in, right? I've always said for me, Saka is overrated. He's a good player. He's a good. No, I'm not doing that. I'm using my eyes, bro, and the stats back it up. If, for example,
or whatever.
He is Jogo Bonito, bro. He plays
just means good football. It just means good play.
It means good football, bro. Like,
I know.
What do you mean, bro? Cole Palmer. When I watch Cole Palmer, he literally plays with freedom. He plays as if he's in.
Well, Palmer is a better player.
This is
bro.
The way he plays in the Prem. The way he plays in the Prem.
Own expectation.
I'll let you talk here. Let me let my point.
He said something that's blasphemous.
Bro, okay, what? That he's better than Saka.
That's not blasphemous.
Saka's
just more mature. He's just more mature.
Saka's more mature, bro. Palmer's better than him. If, for example, Palmer was looking good on the eye, doing all the flair and all of that, yeah, but no end product like João Felix.
Let's be honest. Let's be honest here, though, Don. What you lot are trying to do here is semantics, because no one a season ago would have even questioned whether Saka was the best one of the best youngsters in England.
I hear that.
When you talk about technical ability, like he's very technical. Let's not.
But Jules, let me land my point, then you can come in. Let me land my point, and then you can come in. Let me land my point, and then I can come in.
I started getting questioned. I didn't.
Let me finish. Guys, let me jump in a second. Can we just let someone finish a point, and then challenge it rather than jumping in halfway through?
You're not letting me finish what I'm saying, right? If Cole Palmer came in and on the eye he was looking pretty like a João Felix last season, yeah. Everyone here used to talk about the same thing, yeah. We all know João Felix is a talented footballer, but he's got no end product, poor end product, in fact. Cole Palmer passes the eye test, yeah, has the natural ability, right? Let's not act as if looking good in the eye isn't part of football, because we've all grown up watching players that we love watching, right? We go, if you look at Cole Palmer, people are going to want to go watch Chelsea to go watch him. I've got rival friends I've been to the bridge this season saying, bro, that Cole Palmer guy, this guy is a serious baller. Yeah. But on top of the eye test, he's got the numbers to back it up, goals and assists. And again, for me, over 90 minutes, even when he's playing on the right-hand side, he still finds ways to be involved in the game and be that driving force. For me, Saka is very predictable. You know, he's just a typical academy player that does the right thing, but I'm not seeing flair. I'm not seeing enough of, come on, my friend, like, come on, just get involved in the game, get stuck in. But the thing is, though, what's annoying, though, George, yeah, is I've got examples of Saka doing that. Saka, if you guys remember in the World Cup when we played France, Saka was our best player, right? And Saka was literally running that man, doing what I expect him to do, but I don't see that from him enough. No one here is saying Saka's a bad player. Saka's a good player. Saka can become world class, but Palmer, I'm sorry, is just better than him. Everything that Saka can do, Palmer can do.
This is now, Egal, let me go.
1 second, I have to respond, bro.
You can give responding, but no, Egal.
Wallahi, I'm done. Let me say one thing and then you're done. Long story
I'm even defending you.
Look at touching again. Look at touching again, Saka. Look at touching again.
This is annoying now.
You need a defense right now. I'm playing. You're the goalkeeper. Let me play in front of you for a second. Yeah, let me play the ball out from the back. Let me take control here. Don, the one bit where you're going a bit overboard, and this is where you're taking it a bit far. Look, you've watched Saka for years. You know what Saka can do, and you know what Saka can provide, and you know that through taking time to take in his play. You've got years and years. What Palmer was doing now is what Saka was doing 3 years ago when Arsenal were getting dragged through Europa League, dragged from 8th to 5th, and all that. That's when Saka was dragging Arsenal, just like Palmer's dragging Chelsea now. You can't now start making statements and saying after 6 months, because 6 months is even stretching it because it hasn't been that long. But most Chelsea fans and most football fans haven't seen Palmer play for more than an extended time of more than 4 or 5 months, because this is the only pool that we can use of football that he has. Over time. No, it's not. You can watch his
Guys, let people finish their points, please. Sorry.
You can watch let me come in because I'll go. You can watch his few appearances for Man City, but that's not enough. You've got to see someone play over an extended period of time to sit there and say that for you to even say, you can say he's got more talent than Saka, but say he's a better player than Saka, who's consistently performed for 2.5 seasons, and now is the first time in his career that we can all admit he's had a bad 4 or 5 months. But it's even when it's been bad, the performances haven't been great. This is the first time in his career that he's having it. You can't now question him and start to compare him to the likes of Palmer.
Nah, Jules, I'm sorry. This is what I'm saying. This is where this is the argument people keep coming with. Every time I talk about Palmer being better than Saka, all you guys keep coming back with is sample size. How about you just use your eyes? Right? Go back to what I said in the summer when we signed Cole Palmer. I was being called deluded. I was getting cooked. I said, this guy is going to be a top signing for us. He's going to prove all his doubt was wrong. And every single time I've watched him for Man City, he never looks out of place. Why are we acting as if... I'll let you ask me a question.
I need to ask you a question on that. So I get your point about eye test. An eye test is a judgment that you can put in there.
Yeah.
But what if Cole Palmer has a bad 4 months? Does that mean everything else he's done before that gets undone?
No, I'm not erasing what Saka's done. That's what people are refusing to comprehend. I'm not saying what Saka's done is bad. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, for me personally, I have never put Saka on the level that Arsenal fans have. Over the years, I've always said he's overrated. I said he's good. But that's what I'm saying. Every time you speak about him, it's like, yo, this is a bro, I've grown up on serious wingers. Yeah, let me list a few. Lennon, Nannies, Maludas. Yeah,
wait, Lennon weren't serious.
Lennon was
good. He was good.
No. When I talk about
Lennon was better than Saka.
I didn't say that. I'm talking about wingers, bro. I'm talking about touchline wingers. He was a better touchline winger than Saka. He used to take on his man a lot more.
Is he a better player than Saka?
A lot more than Saka, right? Technically, no. In terms of technical ability, Saka has more tech than Lennon. But Lennon was a better winger.
Lennon was a better winger. Better than Mo Salah. What are we talking about,
bro? What's the main thing that I've criticized with Saka? He's a winger. He's not my type of winger. He cuts in too much. He doesn't like taking on his man enough. Yeah, I haven't grown up on guys like this.
Right, but wait, Don, can I ask you a question? Can I ask you a
You know what I'm
question?
saying?
Do you not feel that with another 6-7 months of football, Cole Palmer next season, going into next season, people are going to figure out how Cole Palmer's played. They've got a whole season of football to watch back, scout, and look there and go.
That's what I was saying.
Cole Palmer's
And then,
gonna
Jules,
do
just to add to that point, yeah.
These are the pockets he's going to be sitting in.
But
So
the
people
difference
are going to
is-
get used to how he plays.
I get that. But the difference is though, Jules, yeah, is that Palmer has that flair, that natural flair, and the natural ability to get out of tight positions if they're gonna double up on him. I've seen him do it multiple times this season. Hold on, just one last point before I go. Egal, hold on, Egal. Just one last point before I go.
I need you to hear this. I need you to hear this.
Wait, let me land one more point on what
I
Jules
get
said.
your gassed. I get your gassed.
Go on,
You
go on.
like Cole Palmer. I like Abdi Palmer too. I rate him. He was chilling with my boy in Dubai. I rate it. I rate Abdi Palmer. But one thing I'll tell you is one thing I'll tell you about Cole Palmer, the sample size is one thing. Number two, to compare him to players who've been doing it for consecutive seasons in the Champions League, in the Europa League, in Euros, in the World Cup, it is different. It is different. You cannot compare him right now. I get it. You're happy. You have a player who's performing out of his skin for you, a young player too. You have something to hold on to. You want to make these comparisons. You want to puff up your chest and bring it.
Oh, Egal, do you know why I can though?
Conversations.
Aaron
But
Lennon,
you-
bro.
But what you're doing,
Oh, you can't tell me that Saka's a better winger than Lennon, bro. Come on now.
But what you're doing,
Line winger. Come on now, bro. We're not doing that.
Saka's not a winger. Saka's not a wing. We don't have wingers in football really anymore. We have inside forwards.
That's my point. Then that's my point.
You can't compare them, then, can you? You can't.
Wait, hold on.
compare
They played the exact same, bro.
No,
Lennon
they
used to play on the right. Lennon used to play on the right.
No,
Saka plays on the right.
No.
Plays on the right.
Hang on a minute. So are you gonna undo Petr Cech's legacy because he comes from an era of goalkeepers that weren't trained to use their feet just because goalkeepers now can?
But this is the thing, though, Terry.
Answer my question. Answer the question.
You've answered my thing for me.
No, Don, I'm not letting you do it. Answer the question. Does Petr Cech suddenly become a bad goalkeeper because that style of goalkeeping is no longer used in football?
He doesn't. But what I'm saying is,
inside forwards have changed. You can't compare him.
But guess what, though?
To an outdated position that currently isn't being used in football.
But guess what, though? The reason why Salah gets away with it, I spoke about this yesterday on Dan Potts' show. Yeah, big up Dan Potts, yeah, and the rest of the guys that are on the show. I literally said Salah gets away with getting goals and assists and not performing well because he does it consistently. We're talking about a guy here, Saka, that scored 3 away goals last year. Away from home, he's not comfy away from his ends blood. He's not comfy away from home. Do you get what I'm saying? 3 goals all year. And just to add to one point, just to add to one point as well, yeah, Jules, what you said earlier about you need a big sample size and this, that. Bro,
can I jump in here?
Rob, 1 point before I've actually got to go. 1 point before I've got to go here now. Yeah.
Bro, you've been sitting, gotta go for like 20 minutes. Just go.
I know. Yeah, but keep getting it. Bro, people keep cutting in, yeah. But hold on. 1 point. Bro,
you're landing in a pile of shit.
When we played you lot in preseason,
Aaron Lennon.
When we played you lot in preseason, you battered us 4-0, whatever it was, yeah? I literally watched that one game of Saliba. One game. The whole season before that, I saw Gabriel for however many games, 38 games. That one game in preseason, I said Saliba's your best defender, yeah? I had people saying, oh, you haven't even seen 5 games. I said, bro, I've got eyes. I've got eyes. I saw Saliba is your best defender.
Yeah, I do get that, but you have to prove it though. Because I remember Chelsea fans telling me that Gal Kakuta was the best young player in England, and he did look it, but he didn't go on to deliver it. It's consistency, guys. I want to try and move on from there. Ron, we'll do your point, then we're going to move on from this. We've got a few more things to talk about.
Going quick, I want you to this. I feel like we're being a bit disingenuous to Palmer as well, because if City fans will vouch for this, there was a season, I think it might have been the COVID year, just after the COVID year, right? He had a game of like 4 or 5 games in a row where he was proving his worth, whatnot. But then he got an ankle injury, and Pep even said he was on the upwards trajectory. That's a sample size in itself. City fans like, you know what? He needs to break into the team. He deserves some start. Then, unfortunately for him, he got set back by his injury. So I feel like this revisionism on Palmer not having a sample size from before, he would have broken to that City team eventually.
He had a sample size, just wasn't enough.
Yeah. I get you on. I get everybody on that. Look, viewers, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you are subscribing to the channel. Don, I appreciate you come back, man. Man just came back. Don't believe it. Let's go through these super chats here. As an Arsenal fan, I have to agree about Saka. Too one-dimensional. He'll be found out unless Arteta hides it tactically. This here from Docs and Coffee. He says here, upset Arsenal fans are mostly young. Ask the Geriatric base. It's so funny how you know that. I've never heard that word before, Kate.
You ain't far away, Terry.
A couple of years bus pass on its way. Base. If we're upset, nope. It's wonderful to watch Arsenal right now. Trophies will come. Palmer versus Saka debate is apples and oranges. This is Palmer's first full season. Let's see. He's 13. 15 GA and then talk. Let's see next year when teams have experience against him. I think all of them are fair points as well. I think they're all fair points.
You know why this argument is not valid? I've been wanting to say this. We're the same ones that sit here and say, well, if a manager, let's use Ten Hag as an example. Ten Hag had a longer sample size than Ange Postecoglou as an example. And we've all seen that. Sure. Listen, if you've taken longer,
20,
no, I'm talking about just in the Premier League. So, like, when we talk about this manager being here for 18 months and a manager who's been here for 6 months, doing better than him, playing and having a better philosophy than him, having his team playing better than him, we can all sit here comfortably and say, yeah, Ange Postecoglou is a better manager because he's doing X, Y, Z. But when it comes to players, that's the one time everyone's like, oh, let's wait for like a few years. Why can't I just test it based on the first half of the season that I've seen and the little bits that he's done with City? And I'm like, you know what? I could see that this guy is actually a good footballer. Like, why is it only valid with managers and not players?
Because if you come next season and he's getting locked up, you're gonna be on the streets looking like
nobody is said
I would never put my neck on that, bro, because I can't.
You don't do anything. You sit here and you sit on the fence anyways. I have no problem.
Right now, I think Palmer is playing good. Of course. Right now, I think Palmer is playing good. Sorry, Tao, I know you wanted to move on. Sorry, I'm just saying. Right now, I think Palmer's playing good, but I think I'm under the impression that, listen, right now, Saka,
you guys didn't wait for him to win anything to call him world class.
Bro, I never called him world class.
You guys are the same.
Why does everybody go to this small part of the fan base that are just
it's not the small part.
We got so many players that are world class. No, we don't.
You're such a liar, bro. You guys,
it's not a small part. It's the majority of us, not you and Egal, but it's actually
guys. Let me just jump in. I want to address Staffy's point. I get where you're coming from, and you can do that. I think both elements are somewhat premature, but I suppose it's how you view football. So, Ange Postecoglou's start at Tottenham has been better than the start that Ten Hag had, definitely in terms of the league. But if Postecoglou fades from this point, never wins anything, can end up being a mid-table team, it becomes a mid-off that nobody cares about. So far, Cole Palmer's been brilliant in a really dysfunctional Chelsea team. He doesn't go on from this to get better and better and better, and Saka's just going for a bad 4 months and he gets back to his very best, then I don't think it matters about your eye test if another player is delivering more than somebody else. So I think you can judge it early if you want. I think you can wait, keep your powder dry and wait a little bit longer. I think people just assess things in life in a very different way. I think Cole Palmer's excellent. I really, really do. I think he's been brilliant for Chelsea, but I think there's loads of factors for and against it. I think what George says is spot on. Let's wait until the tacticians within the team start to look at what he's good at and bad at when he gets not found out, but they find his weaknesses and then they put tactics against him to stop him. When you know if you're really a top-class player is how you persevere through that. And Saka's struggling right now with it. This is when and I remember Gareth Bale going through this where he got moved to an attacking role, started doing really well, and then a lot of people were locking him off. I remember Phil Neville shutting him down at Everton. I remember the week later, Raphael at Man Utd, right back, shut him down at Old Trafford. I was at that game, and everyone's like, yeah, it works him out. And it took him about 3 or 4 months, and then suddenly Gareth Bale went to another level again. So I think there's peaks and troughs in these things. This year says, Staffy, stop being bitter against Arsenal. You're the biggest waffler on the panel, but also said Ten Hag over Arteta and Rashford over Saka last season, laughing my ass off.
First of all, not just because you paid for a comment, it makes it correct. So let me correct you here. I said Saka. I always said Saka's a better overall player than Rashford. So I still stand by that. So that's a lie. And secondly, Ten Hag and Arteta, they both won the same amount of trophies in England. So what do you want me to say?
Wait, Staffy, please tell me you didn't say this.
Bro, this is a joke that went on for too long. And it's actually becoming jarring now.
Don't say it's a joke.
What, bro? I'll tell you what. It's because of the guy right above me right here, because he lives off his blue tick on Twitter. He went and clipped a part of one of my shows with Brandon the day it was the day we signed Onana, and I said to Hassan, I was like, now that we signed him, I'm gonna run an agenda and I'm gonna call him the best goalkeeper in the world. So they took the part out where I said I'm gonna run an agenda, and they just posted it, and now they're saying like, oh, you said he's the best goalkeeper in the world.
Whether people like it or not, I think this guy.
Egal, everyone saw it already. I don't know what you do.
Nah, we want to see it.
Now, don't tell me Allison this, Allison that. You stick to your man, I stick to my man. This is the bottom of the piece.
But yeah, I listen. We all have those things there. We all have those things there. As an Arsenal fan, I want to ask the panel, as players, who's the bravest?
Egal, by the way, what second term? So I have a clip of you saying that Arsenal are going to finish on 100 points. I'm just waiting to post it.
What?
I just want to let you know that. I'm just saving that. I'm saving that for a rainy day.
Yo, you probably being serious, wasn't you? You probably being serious.
No. Wallahi, this guy said he's going to finish on 100 points, bro. He said the way Arsenal are
you know, you had a proper barbecue and cookout, and you've got that meat, and it's in the marinade, it's in the fridge, it's there for a day or two before you cook it. This man has got that brewing in that fridge.
I'm gonna make sure Lee Gunner is impressing that day.
You guys can laugh. You guys can laugh, but that's standards, right? Aren't we talking about standards? 100 points.
No, that's not the standards. That's delusion.
No, that's not standards. That's just you're being
crazy.
As an Arsenal fan, I want to ask the panel, as players, who's the bravest according to the eye test between Saka and Palmer? Who's the bravest?
I don't even think that's an attribute you can measure. It's not a measurable attribute.
But I think by the eye, yes. I mean, eye test. I mean, I don't see either of them as players. I've never witnessed either of them pulling out of tackles or like rolling around on the floor or anything like that. I think they're very similar in that regard. So yeah, I wouldn't know how to answer.
I can say I've seen Saka hold off. Like he's a very physical player, so he can hold off people and shrug them off. That's the only metric I can really use, to be honest.
It's that pounding.
Jason, even as a Gooner, 43, yes. I have to admire Kate's calm and patient in front of some of this waffle. Love the debate, though. Hugs to you all. Come on, you Gooners. Thank you, Jason. Again, we kind of got into the Arsenal conversation kind of organically in the show, but Arsenal look like they're turning down the opportunity to sign Benzema. They're not really linked with bringing anybody in as of right now. Gooners, do you feel like you've done enough this January? Do you feel like you've done enough to go to that level now to still go on and win the league from this point, or are you comfortable with the squad that you've got? I want to go to Egal first on this.
Terry, I want us to do business, but the reality is I don't think we will. I wanted us to go get Ivan Toney in January. I think that would push us on to go get the league. We're not gonna do that. We're gonna wait until the summer. I wanted us to potentially move on some of these guys like Eddie and Kitty in January. It's unrealistic at this moment in time, and it looks like that's going to be something we're going to have to wait until the summer. So, is it enough? It's going to have to be. Arteta's going to have to find solutions. That's the honest truth. At this moment in time, I want more, but it doesn't seem like that's what we're going to get. I think the only thing that could potentially happen is maybe a Kyle Walker-Peters on loan or a right back or some sort of defender coming into this team. That's really the only thing I think that might happen.
Kyle Walker-Peters.
Yeah,
that's the reality of our situation too. It's
time. Do you see this as because there's lots of differentiating views online? Is this Arsenal as a football club not doing enough? Is this Arteta being stubborn and not wanting to like replace some of his favourites, or do you think there is real genuine financial constraints against Arsenal?
Well, listen, definitely Arteta has his favourites. How Nketiah has still got a job. How we haven't gotten rid of him yet, I will never know. To be honest, because I can tell you right now, he's way too inconsistent. Just doesn't play this type of football we want to play. Can't handle it. So for me, he needs to be one of the first to go. As well as listen, Reece Nelson. I like Reece Nelson, but not at that level. We need to be selling these players on, trying to recoup as much funds as we can and go out and buy players that can help us towards the latter end of the season. I know that Thomas Partey's back now, and Duran Timber as well he's coming back, and he looks like next month he should be hopefully available for games. But Duran Timber, I don't think we can really rely on him too much, just because the injury that he's coming back on, or he's coming back off, it's not some simple injury. He's coming back off of an ACL, I think it was, or MCL, and he ruptured it, so he was out for a while, or he tore it, I think. So it's not going to be easy for him to come back, and then you're going to think, oh my god, he's going to be playing exactly how he played. Like that. This is the kind of injury that really puts a player back. And you have to test them. Like, are they going to come back the same player they were before? We don't know. Do you know what I mean? Look at Van Dijk when he had his knee injury. Look at how Van Dijk came back, and only now is he reaching back to certain levels that he was at before. Only now, because injuries in your knee, they mess you up, because then you can't go into tackles the same way. Thomas Partey, I think, coming to our team is going to improve us. Yeah, Thomas Partey, I think, coming to our team is going to improve us. I've said this before, line breaking passes. You've seen, I use, for example, in the whole Saka debate, I would use, for example, the fact that he hadn't had Thomas Partey behind him yet to offer those line breaking passes straight through. If you see certain games where Jorginho has played and he's been able to play those passes, Champions League, when he was able to play that pass through, I think it was against PSV, where he played that pass through, and even the other day, yes. So for me, Thomas Partey coming back to this team is so important, and I think that could really help us in the in the back end of the season.
Can I save you right there, bro? Don't put all your eggs in Partey.
No, I'm not right now. Listen, I'm taking it game by game. We've just beaten
33 games last year. Don't forget.
We've just finished.
He played 33 games last year.
He did play a lot of the season.
That's dispelled that myth. I didn't know that. I actually didn't know that.
No, but
so
I think you have to take it.
The fact that when Partey went out, he's the reason. Partey being injured was the reason why he didn't win the title. That's what we were saying.
No. Nobody said Partey last year. The real
they'll say Saliba.
The real thing everyone said is Saliba, and I'll die on that hill. But the reality is Thomas Partey reliable his whole time at Arsenal? No, but last year he really was. Second half of the season, if he's reliable, and we have Declan Rice, Martin Odegaard, and Partey midfield, that's one of the best midfields in this league.
I'm so excited.
I hold my hands up. I bought into a false narrative. I genuinely thought he didn't really play that much last season. If you're saying he played 33 league games, boy.
He didn't start.
But this isn't anything new.
He started like 28 or 29, but he subbed in for a bunch of those games, led up to 33 total.
Fair. Even 28 starting, that's still good. That's still good.
But yeah, Sad, I don't want to take your.
Yeah. No, it's all good. Are
you boys gutted that you've been offered Benzema, but you're not going to spend the money on him? I mean, did you guys understand that decision? And a lot of people are saying money, but everyone knows a Premier League club isn't going to have to pay £1 million a week. They can get it done a little bit cheaper. To just sort of walk away from it, as the reports from Samuel McBell have said, you must be disappointed in that, Egal, one of the best strikers still in the world, and you're just saying no to him and keeping Eddie Nketiah.
Terry, the manager knows best at this moment in time. That's the kind of situation I have to put myself in, because clearly I don't know. Clearly, I don't know all the details. Clearly, I don't know what they're asking. You can call it delusion. You can call it what you want, but we don't have all the facts. So how am I going to sit here? How am I going to sit here and be yelling and screaming for Benzema? I would take him I would take it in a heartbeat, and I think it would improve us in the short term. But clearly, the club is not looking at short-term fixes. They want long-term.
You just said the manager knows what's right. If you guys aren't signing anyone and you're not really looking at anyone, does your manager know anything then? Because clearly, you're not
maybe they have information we don't have. We can't look at everything.
I think it's now the 25th of January. You guys haven't made a signing. You haven't approached the player.
Nobody has done that except for Tottenham, because this season a lot of teams have been.
You can make as much excuses to make you feel good as you want. At the end of the day, you're in a title challenge. We was told and we were sold by yourself.
We still are, by the way.
We was sold by yourself at the start of the season that this was the year. Arsenal and Man City. You said Arsenal, City. We're the only team that can compete with City. We're the team that's going to take
up Liverpool, though.
You know what, George?
You said at the start of the season that you will win the league. So if your team is on this run, you believe your team can win the league. And the belief and the expectation is that you will challenge to the end. Why now, when you've gone on a bad run of games? We're in January. We're 3 weeks into January, by the way. You guys had your worst form leading into that. Everyone can see there's a problem with the attack. You have not got the depth. You have not got the depth that everyone thought you had. You don't have the depth required to play two games a week. I was going to say 3 competitions, but you ain't got 3 competitions anymore. You've only got 2 competitions. So you haven't got the depth required to even manage 2 competitions at a high level, playing Champions League and Premier League every week. So when that comes around and you're going to struggle for more goals like you have so far this season, you're relying on corners and your defenders and other players to start picking up because your tactics, your attack's not doing the job. We need to sit there and we need to ask big questions of what the manager is actually seeing and if he can see correctly, because we can all see there's a problem with the attack. Saka's not looking good. Martinelli, yeah, he got a goal, 2 goals the other day, but that doesn't take away the fact that he hasn't scored in 3 or 4 months before that, and he's been horrible this season. And just like you said, you need a left back, you need a left centre mid, and you need a striker. That's 3 positions, and you've not improved any of them. How are you still going to push Man City to this title if you've not improved your team?
Guess what, George? Guess what? We don't need to have the best team in the world to win a league. We just need to get the best out of what we currently have at our disposal. And I think there's still a level to go. This team doesn't all of a sudden.
All right.
This
so
team,
Egal.
One second. Bro,
right.
I let you land. And maybe you can put in your 1-2 line.
Can I just say something? Someone said in the comments, this guy signed Werner and he's speaking about signing.
Yeah, listen, allow it. They signed Werner, Dragonson, and somebody else, but let them live. They're about to at least.
What do you mean? Wait. Egal, don't do that. Because you cannot do that because Project Tottenham in their first season is 3 points behind title challenging Arsenal.
Exactly.
We give you a round of applause.
In the same
We
position.
give you a round of applause. We give you a round of applause, and we say you guys are doing really well. 1 second. The difference
but we say you failed.
The difference is
because you set your standards this high that you're going to challenge and win.
The difference is we went on a bad slump, and the reality of the situation is we look at ourselves and we say we just came off a form where we won 1 in 7, 1 in our last 7, and we're 5 points off the top of the league. It is not out of the realm of possibility that we can't still win this league. Now, are we favorites to win it? No. That is not the reality. We found ourselves in a situation where we're top of the league come Christmas, and we did go on a slump. Now, should we strengthen in January? We should, but the situation financially, we don't know. We cannot just say you have to buy players no matter what. One second. The reason why I'm not calling them out is because I've seen us spend money in January and put ourselves backwards. I've seen us make mistakes. So I don't want us, for God's sakes, for the sake of it, to go buy Callum Wilson for 18 million, fuck ourselves over by putting his wages on, pay 18 million for him, and then in the summer have a situation where that transfer cost us an extra 30 million in our transfer for a proper striker.
That's a great point. Like, I understand them doing more, but if they don't have the money, surely signing a Callum Wilson as an example, or a Gurassi or a Choupo-Moting, surely that's worse than signing no one, because they're not. If those players, well, Callum Wilson's better than Nketiah, but he's very, very, very injury prone. Surely that's worse for Arsenal.
He's going to walk into our team, and I guarantee you 1 week in, he's going to be injured. I promise you. I guarantee you he's going to be injured 1 week into our process, bro. I'm telling you right now. As soon as he walks in,
signing players like Callum Wilson's and these things, because last season, just exactly what you done wrong was go for plan B options. Jorginho, Leandro Trossard, they didn't push you to the league, and you was ahead.
So why are you upset when we can't get our plan A in January?
Okay,
let me quickly answer Egal something. You're saying, even if you don't add into this month, you still think you can challenge. But what evidence is there to suggest that you can go all the way to challenge if you don't add in this month?
No, I'm not going to try to be an Arsenal tactical, but I'm just simply going to say Saka's underperforming. You just need to get him up and running. Simple put. The way you're going to get up and running, you have you better chances, better quality of chances, and deep line playmaking from a midfield that's more balanced, like Declan Rice, Partey, and Jorginho will benefit our whole attack. In addition to that,
but then everything have to align. That means a Thomas Partey. That means them three would have to stay fit till the end of the season for the output from the.
Guess what? You don't need a fully fit squad for the entire season to win. You just need to get the best out of the players available.
You don't. But your main players need to stay fit, because you look sort of screaming, "Our Partey got injured and we lost the title because of him." So Partey's one of your main players. Because I agree with you. Partey, Odegaard, and Rice is your strongest midfield three.
Bro, this season we've had Timber and Partey out for majority of the season. We're still 5 points off the top of the league.
Everyone's had injuries.
We've lost. We've only won 1 game out of 7, and we're 5 points off the top of the league. We're still sitting here.
Egal,
guys, let Egal finish, guys, please.
We're
Sorry.
sitting here January 25th, still talking about Arsenal in the title race. I'm not sitting here telling you we're favorites, pumping my chest, we're going to win it. I'm just merely saying, don't write us off because we can get on a good run of form.
You do know that City went 6 games without a win too, right? Like,
Guess
you're
what?
not. Again, wait. And they're ahead of you. No. You're sitting here trying to paint out the picture that, we didn't win in 7 games, we're still here. You was top of the league. You was top of the league, and then you started to win. So of course, no one's ignoring that. We've acknowledged that you was top of the league. You fell from top of the league. To get back to the top of the league, you need to improve your team.
We play Liverpool in 2 weeks' time.
Last season, the reason you've done so well, which one thing Arsenal fans still haven't acknowledged, is overperformance. Most of your players overperformed. They outperformed.
No.
Outperformed themselves.
Stop.
The likes of Oliver, the likes of Martinelli, the likes of Saka performed to a level which they
I disagree. I disagree, bro.
Guys, what we're going to do, just in the interest of time, Sar, because I know you've got to shoot in a minute yourself, because I'm on a little bit of a time restraint now. Viewers, give us your thoughts on what's been debated there between Egal, George, Roms, and everybody regarding Arsenal. Was it overperformance last year? Are they still in this title race? Let us know in the comment section below. A big game tomorrow night, though, that I want to speak about. Before we do that, I want to shout out our title sponsors tonight, Match Bingo. It is, I'm telling you now, it's one of the most fun and relaxing games to play during a football match. Sometimes when you're looking to put, you might put a little bet on, you might put a little flutter on, thinking, do I go with the correct score or first goal scorer, who's starting the game? On this, you just buy a bingo card. And on that bingo card, it has what time goal kicks will happen, what time goals go in, how many saves will be made. And if you get a line first, you win some money. If you get 2 lines first, you win some money. If you get a full house first, it's literally bingo, but with football occurrences in games. If you download it today, you get 10 free cards per month until the end of the season. There's going to be a £500 minimum jackpot for Leicester versus Ipswich this weekend as well. And there's 1 free card for every player for Aston Villa versus Newcastle in the next Premier League game as well. So go and check it out now. It's available in the UK if you're over the age of 18. So go check out Match Bingo at the end of this stream. I love playing it. It's a real good bit of fun. Very cheap as well. It's like £2 per card. So for me, it's a nice relaxed way of having a bit more extra fun during a game. Big game this weekend, Kate. Are you confident? You've got a good record against Manchester City. They're coming to your ground. Huge FA Cup tie Friday night. How's it going to go?
Oh, I don't like to say I'm confident when we're playing Manchester City. Massive bonus that Madders is back. I see it going exactly like Man United. I see us going 1-0 down, getting back to 1-0, going 2-1 down, and then whether we can get it back to 2-0, I don't know. But I see a draw at best. I think the whole they can't score at our ground is going to end this weekend. But, if we lose, it's going to be a good game. It's going to be good to test ourselves against the best. And if we go out to Man City, it's hardly a crisis. Do you know what I mean? They're the best team, even though they're cheats. So, it'd be interesting. I'm looking forward to it, but at the same time, I'm absolutely dreading it.
How about yourself, George? I mean, as you say, the record's good, but sometimes these records can come to an end at the worst time.
No, literally that. And that's the thing. Going into these games, every time we've won, I've usually predicted us to lose. It's been one of those ones where Man City fans don't think they're going to win. We don't think we're going to win, but it's going to be a tight game. I'm actually pretty confident going into this one. The only reason why is, again, we're at home. We've got majority of our best team back. I feel like you're probably going to see the best Tottenham we've seen in about 2 months with regards to player and personnel. So we've got a lot of players back. We've got a few players have actually been able to train for a while, the likes of Romero and VDV, 2-3 weeks back into training. Feel like we're actually going to be able to play the football that we've been wanting to play. Having Maddison back in the team, I don't expect to see him play a full 90, but even just to see him on the pitch for an hour, you're going to see a different Spurs. The ball's going to be moving a lot quicker, a lot more fluid in the middle. But Man City are always a danger. You can never write Man City off. Like Kate said, I don't feel like this is going to be a game where we're going to keep a clean sheet. They're definitely going to finally overcome the drought and get a goal against us. But I mean, going off of the last performance that we played against City, where we drew 3-3, I've got a lot to take from that. We didn't have our best attack, we didn't have our best team and best players, but we still managed to put something together. So I hold a lot of confidence in that, and that we have our good players and have our best team. And I know City, they could be missing Haaland. I don't know if it's confirmed or not whether he's going to be playing. I know
he's not fit apparently.
Yeah, so if Haaland's not there, I don't see no reason why we can't go and beat them, because they're missing their big danger man. KDB's there, and it's always going to cause problems. But I just feel like there's something about this game that Tottenham always have over City, and with the players that we got, I feel like we can be a bit confident and see ourselves.
No Sonny though, no Sonny, no Sar, no Basuma. That's massive.
The thing is, the way that we're going to set out is, of course, look, the same as against Man United. I have no confidence with the attackers. I know with Kulu, yeah, 100%. But the other two, Werner, Richarlison, Werner, Johnson, whichever duo they put next to him, no confidence in the finishing. So it could be a game where we get loads of chances, and it's our own fault if we don't put it away. But with the rest of the team, you look at the midfield, you got Maddison, Bentancur, and it could be Kulu in there with them, or Maddison, Benta, and maybe Skip. However he decides to work it, you've got a trio that can actually work together a bit more balanced. And then the defense is first, finally, again, the same against Man United, full defense back, actual fit defense. VDV won't be pulling up in this game. So I just feel like there's a lot of factors about us that we're getting back to form, getting back to our team. I'd like to see us go there. I'd like to see us walk away with a win, man. FA Cup, we need it. We need to go into the 5th round. We need to have a cup run, and it's a big, big game for Ange tomorrow, man.
Yeah.
Sard, I know before you shoot, you wanted to have a quick say about this game.
Yeah, listen, we all know that Tottenham are Man City's bogey team for some weird reason. I don't know what it is with Man City and Tottenham. They seem to always falter or drop points against them. But I think to be honest, this right now is probably the worst time to play City, because you have De Bruyne coming in, who just looks hungry. He looks like he has a different type of hunger this season since he's come back. I don't know who he's been talking to, bro. He's been talking to Jack Grealish, bro. He was like, "Hey, listen, take me to your barber, bro. I need to do what you're doing." So you know what I mean. When they got the fresh trim, he came back. He was like, "Yeah, I'm ready."
Even
for this.
the color of the hair is different.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. So listen, I think it's going to be a difficult game for Spurs. Obviously, they are at home. Maddison coming back is probably massive for them. I think they might play a midfield. Obviously, you're still missing Basuma and Sarr, which, listen, Sarr, we know he was a workhorse, bro. This guy was all over the place doing little jobs here and there. So you're still missing those two players, but I think you guys probably going to go with a midfield of Højbjerg, Bentancur, and Maddison. I assume you guys are going to try and go with that midfield. But I think Man City might just edge it, but I feel like it will be a close game, because they always are between Man City and Tottenham. You know what I mean? They're just their bogey team, so they often do beat them.
Who have you got in the cup over the weekend?
We've got nobody. You know what? That was a cheap shot, but don't worry, Kate. You'll soon be out of it when Romero makes a rash tackle and it gets you out. Listen, I'm out, my people.
All right, bro. Egal, how do you see this going? Yeah, those kind of the record that Spurs have at home against City in recent years is very, very good. There's always that fear that those records are going to come to an end. Is that happening tomorrow night in the FA Cup, or do you think Spurs will knock out City? And then for me, whenever City go out of a cup competition, I think it opens it up for everybody, because on their day, they are the best team. So are Spurs going to open it up for the rest and give themselves an amazing chance? Or do you think City will finally kind of break that stranglehold that Spurs have over them at White Hart Lane?
I think City fans actually go into this game quite fearful of Tottenham and their stadium. The way that their manager spoke about the going to their stadium wanting to score a goal, the way that they've struggled to beat them at their stadium, the fact that they've had this history, they just need to get a goal first before they even think about winning the game. Now, when it comes to the actual game itself, it comes down. It will, to me, it's going to be a shootout. It's going to come down to who has more of a goal threat on the day. And Tottenham, with no Son, no Basuma, no Sarr, Madison just coming back from fitness. I just don't think they have enough firepower to stay in a shootout with Tottenham, with City in their ground. They did it away from home because they had one of the most clinical finishers in Son available, and Madison on his back legs trying to do his best. But I just don't think they'll have enough offensively to stay in this game. I'm gonna give it to City, and I think it's gonna be like a 3-2 victory for City. I think Tottenham somehow still stay in the game. It's gonna be a crazy shootout. But that's just based on the logic that City are gonna go to that ground and they're gonna be very respectful. I feel like because of their poor previous performances. City go to any other team where they don't have this bad record at their ground. I don't think they go into that game a little bit more fearful. They go into it confident that they're the favorites.
It's gonna be. I agree with you. I think it's gonna be a shootout, but both teams are gonna be open. Both teams are gonna attack. I fancy Spurs, you know.
Go on, Terry.
No real rhyme or reason. And I know some of the City fans go, "Oh, you're just saying that." It's not even about that. It's, you know, like when I said that I thought we'd beat Spurs a few weeks ago. It's not even that. I don't think Spurs are going to be outright better than City, and City are going to be bad. Because I thought when you drew 3-3 with them recently, I thought City were generally speaking much better than you, but you still managed to get something. And I see it being like a 2-1. I just see Spurs doing it, a 2-1. It opens up the competition for everybody. And yeah, I just fancy Spurs to win on the night. You know, it's not a dig at City. They're still the best team in the world. I just think they're going to do it personally. And again, it's just a gut feeling. There's no real rhyme or reason. It's going to be an open game. City will probably have the most of the ball, probably the most of the chances. I just think Spurs are going to nick it. Just a gut feeling.
No, but Terry, even if they lose, they're just going to say Ange did good. Don't worry.
Do you know one thing I would
You
say?
keep crying, Egal. You keep crying and let us live rent-free in your little head.
Listen, every fan base tells me I live rent-free in their head. How do I
you talk about it every other club, and yet you've got such low standards for your own.
Staffy just told you I thought the team was going to get 100 points. So clearly,
that's just because you're deluded.
Okay, so is it that I have high standards and you guys call it delusional, or is it that I have low standards and I just accept
Jordan King?
No, it's you're deluded and think Arteta is the best thing since sliced bread when he's an absolute muppet. That's what it is.
Spurs have I'm in it, guys. Spurs actually have a secret weapon. Now, I actually realised because by the way, I think the game will be 2-2. I think City go 2-0 up and Spurs do enough to come back. Friday night under the lights, White Hart Lane this season. Don't know if it's even called that anymore. You have to give credit where credit's due, but Pedro Porro's corners are always bang on the money. Yeah. And the height you've got in there with Van der Ven, Richarlison, whatnot, Romero, Spurs are, I think you're actually going to come back by 2 set pieces. I don't think it'll be open play goals. I don't trust Kulu or Brennan Johnson or Werner to score. I actually believe Sorry, not Kulu, not Kulu. Brennan, Werner and Richarlison, sorry. Not Kulu, sorry. I rate Kulu, but I just feel like your set piece, because Pedro Porro's delivery, especially against United, it was 2 set pieces against United, wasn't it? I think it was 2 set pieces, or Richarlison goal might have not been.
But the second one wasn't necessarily a set piece, but yeah, the first one was.
Yeah, I just think he's such a weapon, and I think that's where you're going to hurt City from set pieces. But yeah, 2-2 draw. It's
going to be a mad one. What's your score prediction, George?
It gets hard, man.
Dog City settings.
I'm gonna go 2-1 Spurs because I'm confident, but yeah, it's a hard one to give up score.
Yeah. And yourself, Kate?
2-2 for me.
A little 2-2. There we go. Viewers, make sure you get your score predictions in for this game. I want to thank everyone who super chatted. I want to thank everybody that has actually, there's some super chats we missed actually. I want to speak through these real quick. So I remember the same armchair manager saying this about João Felix last season, and he cost Chelsea 11 million and did absolutely nothing. I think that might be in the Kyle Palmer conversation. That's true. A lot of people did say better. For some reason, TFT Danny, Devil in the Details, is defending mediocrity from John Myrtle. What point are these United fans proving? I haven't seen any of that, Charles, so I can't really comment on what somebody said unless I've seen it. Danny's nearly always got his reasons. Sometimes, I'm defending him blindly here, but sometimes his reasons are a little bit sort of veiled in a way. But I'll have to go and take a look at that, my friend. So I appreciate the super chats, my friend. Thank you very, very much indeed. Remember, go check out Match Bingo right now, people. It's an amazing and fun game to play during football matches. Free to download. Until next time, everybody, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all again soon.